On my 45th birthday, I got a text from my wife, Lindsay. It read, "No one's getting any gifts this year. We're cutting costs." Simple. Cold. Not even a happy birthday, just a bland financial notice like I was her accountant. I sat in my car in the office parking lot staring at those words. I reread them 5 times, expecting the rest of the message to load. Something sweet. A joke. A hidden "just kidding." Nothing came. Just that. I chuckled bitterly. Maybe she was planning a surprise? I still tried to believe in good things back then. But that illusion cracked wide open about 6 hours later. That night, while I scrolled through Instagram during my solitary dinner. Takeout Chinese? Candles lit out of habit? Not romance. I saw it. Lindsay. Standing on the Pont Alexander III in Paris. Dressed in a tight red coat she told me she donated to Goodwill. Surrounded by 2 of her work trip girlfriends and one guy. One slick, square-jawed Hugo Boss rap scumbag. The caption read, "Dream trip kiss Mark Dizzy." I blinked. My thumb froze on the screen. My heart? It didn't break. It paused. My brain lagged behind reality like my phone trying to load a dead signal. I tapped the photo. Zoomed in. That guy had his hand, his whole damn hand, around her waist like he owned her. She was smiling. Lips parted. Head tilted. Like she was already in some Parisian hotel room forgetting I even existed. And me? I was sitting in sweatpants with dumplings, wondering if the money we were saving this year had gone into her dream trip. I didn't call her. Didn't message. Didn't cry. I took a screenshot. Then I closed the app. For the first time in our 12-year marriage, I felt like a man watching his house burn from the inside. Only I wasn't even inside it. I was just parked outside, stupidly holding a fire extinguisher while she lit the match. Let me rewind a little just for clarity. We met at a 4th of July barbecue. Lindsay was the kind of woman who drew attention without trying. Blonde, loud, legs like a highway that promised adventure. She was sharp, sarcastic, funny as hell. And yeah, I'll admit it, a little mean, but I liked that edge. I thought it was spice. I thought it meant she wouldn't take crap from anyone. Turns out it just meant she knew how to cut deep and smile while doing it. The cracks had started a year ago, but I was too busy fixing our leaking roof and paying off her student loans to notice she wasn't really busy at work. She'd started taking long trips, said her marketing agency was expanding to Europe. She didn't even speak French. But I believed her, because when a man's in love, he's the last person to see the dagger being twisted in his back. She came back 4 days after that photo. I'll save that scene for later. It's worth its own chapter. But let me just say this. She walked in smelling like a hotel minibar and high-end cologne. Her skin kissed by a sun that never shone in our city. And when she saw what was waiting for her on our kitchen table, she screamed. Not in guilt. Not in fear. No. She screamed because I had changed the locks, boxed up her things, and laid out every single printed screenshot in a neat, incriminating fan. Paris wasn't the only dream that ended that week. You'd think the Paris photo was the first sign, right? It wasn't. That was just the explosion. The fuse had been burning for months. I just hadn't smelled the smoke. I remember the first time something felt off. It was last Thanksgiving. Lindsay said she was going on a girls' wine weekend with 2 co-workers, Ashley and Tina. She packed her suitcase while humming Lana Del Rey, gave me a quick peck on the cheek, and left in such a hurry she forgot her phone charger. Funny thing is, Ashley posted pictures that weekend from her mom's house in Ohio. Tina had posted photos of her newborn nephew in Texas. So either Lindsay was sipping Merlot with 2 holograms in Napa, or she was lying. Still, I didn't press her. She came back tired, said the vineyards were meh, and that she needed space to unwind more often. I nodded, cooked her favorite garlic shrimp pasta, rubbed her shoulders. Idiot. Then came the gym membership. She never cared about working out in 12 years of marriage, but suddenly she was training for mental health. She started wearing makeup to 7 a.m. spin classes, bought new lingerie but kept it for special occasions. Those occasions never seemed to be with me. Then there was the perfume. That damn perfume. Some niche Parisian brand I'd never smelled before. She claimed it was a gift from Ashley. She said it so easily, so casually, and I bought it. Again. One night in March, I caught her on the patio at 1 a.m., laughing on the phone. When I asked who she was talking to, she said, Ashley had a breakup. I was calming her down. I nodded again, because that's what men do when they're not ready to see the truth. We nod ourselves into oblivion. But the real break, the moment the thread started to unravel, was a damn smart speaker. One of those voice-activated gadgets I got her for our anniversary. I walked past it one morning and it autoplayed the last command. Play romantic playlist for Logan. Logan. Not me. I don't even like music during breakfast. She always called me babe. Not even my name. Logan. That name hit me like a punch in the stomach. I opened her laptop when she left it at home one Friday. I know privacy, trust, boundaries. Screw it. That ship had sunk already. She'd saved dozens of emails from a Logan Carr, VP of some high-end marketing firm in Chicago. Their messages weren't even careful. Things like, counting days till Paris with you. Your husband still thinks you're in Portland next week? That red coat will look better on my hotel floor. I didn't cry. I didn't even get angry at first. I just shut down, like a switch flipped inside. I started collecting things. Screenshots, emails, hotel bookings, Uber receipts she forgot to delete. I even found one receipt for a spa for two, paid from our joint account. I printed everything, kept it in a folder marked Taxes 2024. Every lie she told became a page in that file. You know what hurt the most? It wasn't the touching. It was the planning, the months of deception, the ease with which she lied. She'd lay beside me at night, kiss my cheek, and whisper, "Good night, love." Then get up the next morning and send Logan photos of her in the dress I bought her for our anniversary. She was living a double life, and I was just the background character, her safe place, her backup plan. But she didn't know I had seen it all now. Didn't know I was just waiting for the right moment to confront her. And believe me, I planned it like a stage play. She came back on a Tuesday, jet-lagged and tan, rolling her luggage over our hardwood floor like nothing had happened. The wheels clicked like gunshots in my head. I stood in the kitchen, arms crossed, folder in hand. "Hey, babe," she said with that same fake cheer she used to reserve for her clients. "Miss me?" I didn't answer. She walked up, leaned in to kiss me, but I stepped back. Her smile faltered. "What's wrong with you?" I placed the folder on the kitchen table like a dealer laying down a royal flush. She looked at it, then at me. "What's this?" "Open it." She hesitated. Her fingers hovered over the manila paper like it might bite her. Then she flipped it open. Her eyes scanned the first page. A screenshot of her Instagram story in Paris. Page 2. An email exchange with Logan. Page 3. A receipt from the hotel where she booked a double occupancy suite in the 7th arrondissement. She blinked, tried to close it. "I don't know what you think this is," she began. I laughed. Couldn't help it. "You don't know what I think it is?" She straightened up, voice sharpening. "Why are you going through my stuff? What kind of psycho?" "No, Lindsay. We're not doing that. You don't get to flip this on me." She folded her arms, her posture shifting into that arrogant stance she used when she was cornered. "So what? You're spying on me now?" "I had to," I said, stepping closer. "Because you lied. Repeatedly. For months. Maybe if you paid half as much attention to me as you do your stupid spreadsheets, I wouldn't have needed someone else," she snapped. There it was. The venom. The blame. "You think this is about attention?" I asked, trying to stay calm. "You were in Paris with another man on my birthday, after you told me we were cutting costs." She rolled her eyes like she was the one who'd been inconvenienced. "You don't understand, Ethan. I needed that trip." "Needed it with Logan? He gets me." I swear, I almost laughed again. Not because it was funny, because it was so absurd. I couldn't believe I ever loved this woman. "He gets you," I repeated. "Did he get your wedding vows too? Did he get your promises? Did he get those 12 years of my life that I gave you?" No questions asked. She didn't answer. She just stood there, glaring like I was being dramatic. "You're pathetic," she finally said. "You're weak. You think printing emails makes you a man." And there it was. The real Lindsay. The one I always ignored. The one who talked down to waiters. Who mocked people behind their backs. Who thought empathy was a weakness and manipulation was strength. I stepped back, calmer than I thought I'd be. "I want you out," I said. Her eyes widened, like she hadn't expected that. "You're kicking me out?" she said, laughing bitterly. "Good luck surviving without me." "I've been surviving without you for a long time now," I said. "I just didn't know it." She stared at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. "Good." I handed her a list. A local hotel she could afford. Times I'd be gone for her to pick up her things. My lawyer's contact. She snatched the list, grabbed her suitcase, and stormed out. No tears. No apologies. Just venom, perfume, and the sound of wheels clicking down the steps. The door slammed, and for the first time in a year, the house was quiet. The silence after Lindsay left wasn't peaceful. It was brutal. It wrapped around the house like fog, heavy and suffocating. I stood in the living room, alone, surrounded by framed memories that suddenly felt fake. That photo of us in Maui, where she said, "This is the happiest I've ever been." A lie. That canvas print from our wedding, her laughing with wild freedom in her eyes. Another lie. The weight of 12 years pressed down on my chest like a cinder block. I wasn't crying. Not yet. I didn't know what to feel. I'd always imagined heartbreak would look like yelling, throwing things, screaming into pillows. But instead, it was a numb, paralyzing ache. I poured myself a whiskey, then another. Sat on the edge of the bed we used to share. The sheets still smelled like her perfume. That same overpriced French scent she claimed Ashley had given her. I tore the sheets off, stuffed them in a trash bag. Something inside me snapped, quiet but final. I wasn't grieving a wife anymore. I was grieving a story, the story I thought we were writing together. And now I realized I'd been the only one holding the pen. Nights were the worst. That first week, I couldn't sleep in our bed. I crashed on the couch, waking up every hour to phantom memories. Her laugh, the weight of her hand on my chest, the way she'd hum when brushing her hair. My friends didn't know what to say. My buddy Mike came over with beer and awkward attempts at dude talk. "Man, forget her. You're better off." But his eyes told a different story. He'd met her. He knew how deep I'd been in. There was no clean break from that kind of betrayal. I kept asking myself the same question. When did she stop loving me? Was it a specific moment? A slow fade? Had I missed signs? Or did she just decide one day that Logan's cologne was more intoxicating than our life together? I remembered our 10th anniversary. I took her to Lake Tahoe. She cried during dinner, happy tears, or so I thought. She held my hand across the table and said, "No one knows me like you do." Now I wonder if that was the same month she met him. Some nights, the anger hit me so hard I thought I might explode. I imagined tracking Logan down, punching him square in the face. But deep down, I knew he wasn't the main villain in this story. He didn't promise me forever. She did. She looked me in the eye and swore vows she had no intention of keeping. I started going to therapy. Yeah, I know, not the macho move, but I didn't care anymore. First session, I sat there in silence for 10 minutes. Then I just said, "She told me we were cutting costs." And then she flew to Paris with another man. My therapist didn't gasp, didn't pity me. She just nodded. "Tell me how that made you feel." And suddenly I did. I told her everything. The pain, the humiliation, the shame, the way I now questioned every memory, every "I love you," every quiet morning, every late-night drive where we played our favorite songs. I wasn't just dealing with betrayal. I was dealing with the death of a version of myself I had built around her. And now that she was gone, I didn't know who I was anymore. But here's the thing. Something strange started to grow in that silence. A seed. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was clarity. Maybe it was the beginning of freedom. She was out. The poison was gone. Now it was time to figure out who I was without her. And if there was anything left of me to rebuild. 2 weeks after Lindsay walked out, The house still felt like a crime scene. Every drawer I opened held pieces of her. Lip glosses, receipts from boutiques I'd never heard of, notes written in her careless, swirly handwriting. Each one felt like a shard of glass. I could have left everything, just packed a bag and started over somewhere else. But no, I stayed. Not for her. Not for the memories. For me. I needed to face the wreckage before I could walk away from it. The first real decision I had to make was whether to file for divorce immediately or give myself time. My lawyer, Linda Hargrove, was a shark. Sharp suit, sharper tongue. She looked over the documents I gave her and said, "You've got grounds for a clean break. Infidelity, financial deception, emotional abuse. She's got no footing here." I nodded. I want her out of my name, out of my life. But that was easier said than done. Lindsay, as expected, didn't take the divorce news quietly. She started calling, texting, sending me long emails full of half-baked guilt and gaslighting. One said, "You were never there for me emotionally. Logan was just a friend who filled a gap you left." Another one read, "I made a mistake, but do you really want to throw away 12 years over one trip?" She had the nerve to call Paris with another man a mistake. Not a betrayal. Not an affair. Just a minor hiccup in her little fairy tale. Then came the rage texts. "You think you're perfect? You're pathetic. No wonder I needed someone else." There she was again, classic Lindsay. The queen of deflection. Every time she couldn't win an argument, she changed the rules. I blocked her. Cold, clean, final. The moment I hit that block number button, I felt something shift in my chest. Not peace, not yet, but air. Breathing space. The next decision? What to do with the house. She wanted to negotiate her share. I told Linda. She forfeited it the moment she used our money to go play midlife fantasy in Europe. So we played hardball. Lindsay tried to stall, delay the proceedings. Claimed she was entitled to half. But Linda uncovered enough of her financial lies, joint accounts used for solo spa days and foreign hotel bills, that we had leverage. Eventually, Lindsay backed off. Probably because Logan wasn't as committed as she thought. Rumor had it, thanks to Mike who did some quiet digging, that Logan had ghosted her not long after they returned. Apparently, fun mistress didn't translate into life partner. That part? I won't lie, it felt good. Not because I wanted revenge, but because she finally got a taste of the emptiness she served me on a silver platter. In the meantime, I made another decision, to renovate the house. Not drastically, just enough to reclaim it. New paint, new furniture. Got rid of the art pieces she picked that I never liked. Threw out every candle, every pillow, every photo. It was about cleansing the space, making it mine. For the first time in over a decade, I could sit in my own living room and not feel like a guest in someone else's fantasy. Friends started coming around again. My sister Hannah. They said I looked different. Not broken, awake. I started doing things I'd postponed for years. Joined a hiking group. Picked up woodworking. Went on a date, not serious, just coffee. I was still hurting. Still processing. But I was moving. And after being stuck in her shadow for so long, movement felt like rebellion. 6 months after Lindsay left, I found myself sitting on the back porch with a cold drink in my hand and no bitterness in my chest. The world didn't feel heavy anymore. I wasn't counting the days since she walked out. I wasn't replaying arguments or decoding her lies. I was free. It didn't happen all at once. Healing isn't a straight line. There were days I woke up reaching for her out of habit. Days when a song or a scent twisted something deep inside me. But those moments grew fewer and quieter, like echoes in a house I'd already started repainting. What I learned. Let me be clear, it wasn't just that Lindsay cheated. It's how she did it. How she laughed in Paris while I ate reheated takeout on my birthday. How she told me we were cutting costs while booking 5-star suites with a man who called her goddess in email footers. It wasn't about the act, it was about the cruelty, the disregard, the coldness. There are betrayals that break your heart. And then there are betrayals that make you question if the person beside you ever had one. Lindsay was the latter. And yet here I was, not ruined. Still standing. Still building. There's something wild that happens when you survive someone trying to emotionally erase you. You realize you were always the stronger one. You realize you gave more, loved deeper, stood longer. People ask if I hate her. The truth? No. Hating her would mean she still holds space in me. She doesn't. What I feel now is a mix of pity and gratitude. Because if she hadn't burned everything down, I might have kept building on hollow ground. She freed me, and that's the only gift she ever gave me without lying. I started journaling during therapy. Wrote down the red flags I ignored. The parts of myself I lost in trying to keep someone who was already gone. I wrote letters I never sent. To her. To Logan. To the version of me who thought loyalty could save a one-sided marriage. One entry sticks with me. She didn't just lie to me. She lied about me. Made me feel like I was the problem, when all I ever did was show up. That's what betrayal does. It rewrites the narrative in your head. Makes you question your worth. But eventually I rewrote it back. Now, I don't look for closure in her. I found it in myself. In the mornings I wake up without that pit in my stomach. In the weekends I spend doing things I actually enjoy. In the realization that real love doesn't feel like begging for scraps. Lindsay thought she left me broken. But I wasn't broken. I was unburied. If I had one piece of advice for someone going through what I went through, it'd be this. Pay attention to how people treat you when they think you can't leave. Because that's their truth. And once you see it, don't wait for an apology. Walk. Run if you have to. And don't look back. There's peace in the aftermath. If you're brave enough to stand in the fire and wait for the smoke to clear. I did. And what I found wasn't ashes. It was me. It was a Thursday afternoon, crisp and bright, the kind of day where nothing dramatic is supposed to happen. I had just finished a meeting and was walking back to my car when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I don't answer those anymore. But this one, something in my gut stirred. A minute later, the voicemail came in. I stood in the parking lot, letting it play. Lindsay. Her voice was shaky, but still wearing that coat of self-importance like perfume. Ethan, hey. I've been thinking a lot about us. I know I messed things up. I was lost. I miss you. I miss us. Can we talk? Just talk. Please. I didn't react. I didn't even flinch. It was like someone whispering through a closed window. I could hear the words, but they couldn't reach me. A few hours later, she showed up. Yup. Right on my doorstep. In a beige trench coat. No makeup. Trying to look soft and innocent. She had the gall to act like this was normal. Like this was her home. Ethan, she said with a half smile. You look good. You look desperate, I replied calmly. Her face twitched. Not used to that from me. She stepped inside without asking. I let her. I was curious. I wanted to see what version of herself she had rehearsed this time. I just needed to see you, she said, slowly walking around the room like she was inspecting damage. This place looks different. It's mine now, I said. She bit her lip. I can see that. There was a pause. She sat on the edge of the couch like a ghost of herself. I made a mistake, she started, her voice dropping. Logan. It wasn't what I thought. He said things. Promised things. But he wasn't you. I stared at her. So now I was the fallback plan? The emotional doormat she remembered after her fantasy prince dipped out? She reached into her purse and pulled out a photo. Us on our honeymoon in Banff. Remember this? She said. We were so happy. No, I was happy, I corrected her. You were probably already calculating when to leave. Her eyes filled with tears. Crocodile tears, maybe, but they shimmered just the same. I know I broke your heart, but I'm still your wife. No, Lindsay, you were my wife. Now you're just someone I used to love. She stood angry now. I gave you the best years of my life. I laughed. Actually laughed. No, you gave those years to a mirror and a lie. I just happened to be standing next to you. She took a step toward me, dropped the soft voice. You really think you'll find someone better than me? I already did, I said. She blinked. I found myself again. And that was it. She realized I wasn't bluffing. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was done. Not cold. Not bitter. Just done. She didn't scream, didn't throw anything. She just stood there, swallowing pride like broken glass. Then she turned, walked out, and didn't look back. I closed the door, locked it, then deleted her voicemail. That was the echo. The final ripple of her chaos brushing against the shore of my peace. It's strange how peace doesn't come with fireworks. It doesn't knock on your door or announce itself like grief does. It just arrives one morning like steam from a coffee mug, soft and quiet and absolutely undeniable. That's how I knew it was over, truly over. Not just the marriage, but the storm inside me. Lindsay's last visit was the final tremor, the dying echo of a life I no longer belonged to. And when she left that day, something clicked into place. Not closure. I don't believe in that word anymore. Not when someone detonates your trust with both hands. But I found something better. Clarity. In the weeks after her visit, I noticed how normal started to feel extraordinary. I woke up without checking my phone for new lies. I made breakfast without choking down resentment. I came home to a house that felt like mine, not a stage set for her next performance. I wasn't healing. That implies there's a timeline, a checklist. I was living. One Saturday morning, I went for a hike alone, just me and the mountains. The silence wasn't empty anymore, it was earned. That trail used to be one of our spots, but that day it was mine. Every step forward was a choice not to look back. I started writing again. Not for therapy, not for closure, just for the sheer joy of it. Words that weren't soaked in heartbreak. Just me, on paper, fully present. Mike kept inviting me to game nights, and for the first time I said yes. I stopped dodging life. Stopped living in rewind. People started to notice. Even my sister Hannah said, "You seem lighter. Like, you've got your own gravity again." She was right. One night, while I was walking home from a bookstore, I passed a little wine bar. Quiet, warm lights, acoustic music drifting through the open door. I stepped in, ordered a drink, and sat at the bar, content to be alone. That's where I met Ray. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't trying. She just turned, smiled, and said, "You look like someone who finally exhaled." And that was the first time I laughed with joy in over a year. We talked for hours. Not about heartbreak or exes or war stories. Just music, books, bad jokes. She didn't ask what I'd been through. She just saw me for who I was, not what I'd survived. I don't know where it'll go. I'm not rushing into anything. But it reminded me of something crucial. There's life after being shattered. There's trust after betrayal. There's laughter that doesn't feel forced. Sometimes, you don't realize how much noise someone brought into your world until they leave. And all that's left is the hum of your own heart, finally beating in rhythm with itself. I look back now not with regret, but with understanding. Lindsay was never going to love me the way I loved her. And that's not my fault. It never was. If you're reading this and you've been through it, been broken, betrayed, made to feel like you were never enough, hear me, you were always enough. They just weren't worthy of what you offered. Let them drown in their own choices. You get to swim free. That's the real aftermath. Not ashes, not ruin, just a quiet, powerful beginning. And trust me, it's beautiful here,